Good day, my name is Mohammad Chowdhury and I'm a partner at PwC Australia based in Melbourne. It's very nice to join you by video today. I'm the firm's lead partner for telecoms, media and technology in this region of Southeast Asia, Australia and New Zealand. We have in our markets been seeing a lot of development and growth around the B2B segment in particular, both in terms of B2B, I would say, for telcos, as well as what I would say is emerging in terms of B2B to C or to government as well. In a very brief few seconds, I'd like to maybe touch on this by raising three observations, what I'd call trade-offs. First one would be between whether telcos should be focusing on SMBs or small and medium-sized enterprise segments or large, and what we've been seeing is some interesting developments around that question. In Australia, we're seeing the emergence of more retail and channel solution experiments around penetrating the SMB sector better, and we have some interesting insights on that. At the same time, we also see the major Australian telcos, particularly the biggest one, are thinking hard about their strategy to service not only Australian corporates, but how or whether they should be servicing others in other markets. And that's an interesting question where we would love to discuss some of our insights with you. The second area of the three would be whether the telco B2B player is a channel for partners to provide B2B services to clients, or whether they're a solution provider in their own right. So for example, with the channel option, what we do find at the moment is that there are some big data or analytics or cloud service providers who have solutions but do not have adequate access to the market, particularly below the very elite level of multinationals and large corporates, to access the market to scale their own services. And they see a natural alliance with telcos in this market. We've seen that, for example, in Indonesia, to some extent in Malaysia, and in Australia. Now, on the other hand, there is the solution aspect for the telco, where the telco, if you like, takes the lead and provides the B2B solutions directly. In that regard, we see a third trade-off, which is whether the telco is going to play an infrastructure-based role in providing the B2B offerings to the market, or whether it's going to almost play an OTT type of role, competing with some of the players I was referring to earlier. Now, in this respect, we find that the telcos that we work with are really midstream in terms of figuring out what the role is that they want to play. So if I take big data as an example, we find that the key questions are around, do I play the role of providing storage, for example, and big data processing from an analytics and insights perspective, or do I focus on the communications and connectivity skills required to provide that service in a world-class way? So, for example, focusing more on routing of traffic, security, storage at the edge versus storage at the customer's premises versus on the cloud, and optimizing that whole experience, and therefore working much more in partnership with a cloud services player or a big data player. So on that question, we find those are the types of areas where telcos are doing quite a lot of thinking. Overall, I think the implication of all of this is that our telco clients in the region are working hard to identify the capabilities that they need to develop for the new levels of opportunity in the space, as well as the partnerships that they need. The key challenge for us strategically, from a commercial perspective really, would be that we're still not convinced that telcos have sorted out how to grow profitably in this space. So growth, we feel, is an area that's had a lot of thinking, and we can share insights. Profitable growth, in our mind, is still something that hasn't been conquered yet by the major telcos that we work with in the region. We'd love an opportunity to discuss these things further, and indeed to introduce you, when it makes sense, to some of our clients directly as well. So on behalf of the team in Australia, really nice to meet you and look forward to further interaction. Thank you.